initiated the Accra Initiative, to deal with the threat of violent extremism from particularly the Sahel. So his mandate is to open dialogue, and in diplomacy, dialogue is key, is really fundamental, and to help in bringing them back to the fold, whilst at the same time addressing the security challenges that the Sahel is posing to us as a country. So that's his mandate.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. This will be my second question. Honorable Nominee, let me start by saying that there's no malice intended with this question. I just want you, I'm sure a lot of Ghanaians would want to know. So then, some Ghanaians, the population have described you as someone who is a populist. Some have also said that you're a propagandist. Others have said that you are quick to come out with information without verifying. I want to find out if the international community is supposed to go by this narration of you. What would you do, or what would you say today to put them at ease? Thank you.
Thank you very much for this question. If these are qualities that saves a country billions and billions of dollars, then we should encourage more of these qualities. And I'm sure the international community will be happy to know that there is a potential foreign minister from Ghana who is committed to meeting UN goals, AU goals, the goals of the international community in combating, corruption, waste, state capture, and that integrity, is a quality that we all should really encourage and aspire to. And I can also place on record that in all of the work that we have been, we have not injured anybody's reputation. We verify, we make sure we validate. And you know me, that if I have not intercepted the right documents, done the right analysis, I don't put out what is, just imaginary or conjecture. I make sure that it is credible and unimpeachable. So please be rest assured that our foreign policy and the foreign ministry will be well regarded by His Excellency John Dramani Mahaman's appointment.
Thank you, Honorable Nominee. So, in a nutshell, what you are seeking to tell Ghanaians is that you are taking off a new leaf?
Honorable Member, he's answered the question. That if that description will fit into his international relations, then it's good for all of us. So it doesn't suggest that he's taking a new leave.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You couldn't have put it better.
Okay, so then it's Odo Kuja Blakwa that we know. All right, so that will take me to my last question, which will be to find out from the Honorable Nominee. So then in the past, your predecessor, Honorable Shirley Ayoko Botchwey, has showcased made in Ghana goods, services, and products. I want to find out, and she has done that through diverse ways, and one way is through the bazaar. I'm very much aware of it as a ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee. I want to find out if it's something that you plan on continuing. Thank you.
I can assure you, Honorable Nominee, Honorable MP, pardon me, that this is an area that will be pursued. Cultural diplomacy is really important. Kwame Nkrumah talked about the African personality, that we must be proud of who we are and showcase that to the world. And Ghanaian culture is always talked about in the international arena. When people come to terms with our culture, they are always enamored, always out, and it really projects us positively. So please be rest assured, all of those initiatives and more will be pursued, working in close collaboration with the Ministry of Creative Arts, Culture and Tourism. And I'm glad that Mama Gajifa Gomashi herself is here to offer full support. And we have great working relations. We'll work together to promote cultural diplomacy.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Kweku Ricket here. You have a follow-up question on whether or not you pursue what the predecessor Well, then that is a different question you want to ask. Well, go up with your follow-up. And if it is not a follow-up, you know the consequences.
So then, Honorable, thank you very much for your answer. I wanted to find out, since we are talking about exports and our local producers, I want to find out, leveraging on trade blocks, I want to find out how you promote these exports and also in turn bring in foreign exchange. Thank you.
Two pillars will be utilized for this. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, I think that we really have to leverage that. And then President Mohammed's 24-hour economy policy, he's appointed the Venerable Guzi Tano to coordinate the 24-hour economy vision of the president. And this is aimed at industrialization. And to industrialize, you must add value to what you produce. And so the 24-hour economy and the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, remember that President Mahama has said that he will chair the Africa Continental Free Trade Area objective himself. And so these will be the two pillars which are used to promote our trade and how we add value and diversify our economy.
Thank you. So, Honorable Vice.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Honorable Okujoto Ablakwa, my brother, congratulations. I'm so happy that you are going to be doing this work. I got people call me because your work on anti-corruption has earned the admiration of a lot of people, of us, including His Excellency the President. And we believe that it's as a result of that this whole aura was created, and you were the one in charge of it. Leader, don't ask questions like that. And people are beginning to wonder, when you got your new portfolio, that you have become the face of Ora and you are going to move on to foreign affairs. But I think you have said something today that I believe people who are listening to you, that the fight for anti-corruption actually has a lot of tentacles, and that there's actually a foreign angle to it. So you are now going to be placed, Ora is now more or less gone global. You are going to be placed at a position where you will be able to explore the foreign angle of it in terms of properties outside. People have purchased ill-gotten wealth. In terms of money stashed away elsewhere, all these things are going to come, and I think that Ora will actually be stronger for the position that you have. You have done a lot of work that I think you should be celebrated. I remember our fight on the sale of SNIT asset. The National Cathedral is one of them. Air travels of the executive, and actually purchase. All right, just forget about the distraction. And the purchase of actually properties, for foreign missions outside that obviously did not go the way it should. And I think that we should take this opportunity to actually thank you and celebrate you for the good work that you have done for this country in not only protecting the national purse, but in your case, you're actually saving the national purse. And you must be commended for that. Actually, you know, my sons admire you, and they send their congratulations. Now, the first view I want from you is to do with our foreign mission properties outside, and which has a fiscal implication on our budget. Under President Mahama I, a work was done in basically doing an inventory of all our foreign properties outside, the ones we own outright and the ones we lend or lease. And I think these things will be at the ministry when you get there to see what was done. And that we have a lot of money or properties that we have bought that are very expensive. These things started on Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah when we gained independence, where our foreign mission properties were actually bought in prime areas. And these properties actually cost millions of dollars. Now, over the years, some countries' activities we do there are not as busy as we do elsewhere. So the question is whether some of our properties elsewhere should actually be sold to buy properties, permanent properties, where we are actually very active. And to be able to save money, because we have a lot of litigations out there where we have properties, Mr. Speaker, as leaders are giving time to, as this is a very important one, because there's a lot of money that is being spent out there that comes from our budget. I mean, on recurrent expenditure, we spend about $1 billion a year, dollars, across 71 or so foreign missions. So some properties we rent, and actually we have properties, because I was part of that work that was done on President Mahama Watch. Some properties that we have, again, in countries and in prime places that we no longer have an embassy. And the properties are still there, being used by other people. And in some cases, we pay property taxes for those properties. And some properties we rent in some countries. We should actually be buying those properties because the rent we pay there are quite expensive. So I want to ask you, and I know this is there that you will go and find, what is your view on that in terms of making sure that we streamline our portfolio across the world and make sure that the properties we have are used efficiently in places we have more activity. So because you have accommodation for people and all that in embassies, some embassies we send so many people there and they need to be accommodated to make sure that we have adequate accommodation for our, people on a mission outside. So I want to take your view on that before I continue. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, for your very profuse words of praise and encouragement. I'm really, really encouraged. In recent times, it's as though those of us rather who want to protect the public purse, we are becoming public enemies. People want to come after us, and they've left the looters, to enjoy the loot. So I really want to thank you. This is really not common in our country these days. On the substantive question of inventory and our assets abroad, I am glad that you are part of the team that did that work, and I will be happy to ask for the report and to study it. As ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee in the 8th and 7th Parliament, I recall every budget cycle raising on the floor that if you paid regard to how much we're spending on rent if we had purchased properties, it will have saved the taxpayer. We will have, in terms of the economics, it makes more sense to own rather than be renting. So on the other suggestion of selling the assets, you know my position on state assets. I'm currently promoting a protection of state assets bill. I've brought it back to the 9th Parliament, and there are a number of colleagues on both sides supporting me in that quest. And so I certainly cannot be seen, selling any diplomatic property. I can make a pledge here that under my watch, no diplomatic property will be sold. They will rather be protected. And I think that if you look at the analysis, we need more. There are too many foreign service officials who are renting and are being harassed by landlords across the world. And we have to look at that. You make a genuine observation about countries where we know that this when the Dr. Obeda Samoa era under President Rawlings, they did a realignment and to cut down on our expenditure on our missions abroad. But even though we do not have diplomatic presence, we can fashion out a way where those assets are not just allowed to rot. They can be put in good shape and rented, and then it raises money, good IGF for the ministry. So it's just about being innovative. So I would rather that we should, because you see, today you don't have diplomatic presence, but tomorrow, the need will arise. The exigency of the time will ask you to rethink and re-establish diplomatic ties. So I would say let's keep all our assets. We don't have enough. We need to even build on what we have inherited. But certainly look at the report and then see how we acquire more assets and then reduce the annual expenditure on rentals. It's really killing this country, and it's something we have to deal with frontally. In conclusion, I must also point out that we have observed of the act that we have even lost. If you go to the UK, for example, poor court case led to some diplomatic that our court has been lost. Even if we have to wage a strong legal battle to take it back from coaches, we need to do that. And as I said earlier, as for selling of these, please be rest assured that it's not something I believe in.
Let me follow up on this, and I think I do agree with you. Though selling is an option, but I know your position. Perhaps what we can do is to rent the property at the prime place to get something somewhere else in the same country that is cheaper, so that the rent we earn from there can be used to pay for that property and actually get a balance out of that and save. My next question, as part of the follow-up, is actually to do with our trade attaché. The least say about it, the better, about what you go there and do. We know they do very important work there, but because of the sensitive nature of it, I wouldn't, Now, what happens to them? Because they draw, the foreign affairs, the mission, draws their salary services from your ministry through the budget. These also draw theirs from the various ministries. Now, when they get to London or US, they come under your mission over there. And then many of times they are not looked after properly in terms of looking for a place to stay and all that, or they don't even have adequate budget like you make provision for all that. So I think in the future going forward, we should look at how we can work together to make sure that the people we sent out there, if they don't belong to your mission, they are coming from elsewhere, they are able to fuse them together to make sure that they have adequate resources to do the very important work that will support you as being the ambassador out there, bring investment and trade and all that home. This you can take as an advice. The third one, and that will be my final one, is to do with, as you mentioned, and His Excellency the President. I'm very glad he admitted that he's going to take the African continental trade under, his own leadership. The headquarters of the African continental trade sit here. We have done agreements, various agreements that we've signed around the world, but we don't actually prepare, especially in terms of the diplomacy side of things. So we go and sign all this agreement that in the end doesn't benefit us, but it benefits the people we've signed the agreement with. AGOA is one example. African Continental Free Trade, as we have signed and ratified, some countries took their time in ratifying it for the simple reason that they were building themselves up to be able to take advantage. But we have been slow at it because the diplomacy has also been slow. The trade side is there, but the diplomacy should lead everything else. We have some African countries around us, especially our neighbors, who have moved from democracy to military rule after their ratification. Some have recently left ECOWAS, which means that relationship with them needs to be re-energized, and that requires some foreign diplomacy, and that is by yourself when you get the nod, not if. So I want to know from you how you are going to make us a leader through trade diplomacy on the African continent, through the Pan-Africanism that we've talked about and the development of Africa. We do about 2 or 3% of trade among ourselves. We have created a single market, and that single market requires diplomacy to nurture it before the trade actually. Sure that we build trade and the problems we have in this country. Debt is swallowing us. Ghana is almost broke and all that. These are some of the things that we need to do, including all the other things that we plan to do in 24-hour economy or all that, for us to be able to grow our economy again. But I should end by again congratulating you. God bless you. I know you do a fantastic job. And I know that the international tentacles of ORA will still keep you on the ORA job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ricketts Hagan. And let me state that I'm really impressed with your lecture. It was not a question, it was a lecture. And I'll make a special appeal to His Excellency the President that when we are putting together the Ministerial History Board, if you wouldn't mind serving on the board, close to me so that you can be giving me good advice, because yeah. So I agree with you, Honorable Ricketts Hagan, that trade diplomacy must really be at the center of our foreign relations as a country. If you look at how we are struggling currently economically. Then you consider other factors, the ILO, for example, and the IOM have all confirmed that in 2023, we saw the highest rate of deaths on the Mediterranean. Young Africans who crossing over to Europe are dying, about 150,000. And those numbers are, according to the expert, even conservative estimates, because there are many who die and they are not even detected. You know, so we really have to prioritize trade diplomacy. And that's why in the NDC manifesto, we have said that we will make that a priority. There are many of our missions without trade attaches. We have said that we will send them and occupy those positions. But most importantly, we will also retrain them, build capacity. And then earlier I talked about KPIs. They will also be giving clear targets. So you are not just posted, you know, and we don't know what you are bringing back home, what we are getting from you. Many people have not averted their mind to the inward-looking policies that we are witnessing now on the global arena. If you take, for example, the recent Donald Trump executive orders, if you begin to quantify the impact on our continent. The last time I was engaging officials of the WHO, they say that it will affect Africa in terms of our vaccine programs, in terms of even the Global Fund, which has been a major player as far as our health priorities are concerned. The analysis show that the WHO will lose about $450 to $500 million every year. If every month, I think I was told, if this executive order remains in force. So what that means is that we can no longer continue to be relying on handouts and aid from other countries. We must really take our destinies into our own hands and forge a path that is self-reliant, will really go out of poverty. And that is where the trade diplomacy comes in. A little bit that it hasn't worked. What we really must promote trade, not aid. So these trade attaches will now take a very serious look at it, build capacity, make sure that there are KPIs, and within the larger ambit of economic diplomacy, where in our manifesto talk about formulating a blueprint for the first time in our country's history. We will do all of that with clear targets so that trade diplomacy will work for our people, will help to improve the living conditions of our people and create jobs for our people.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Minority Leader.
Honorable nominee, you took the leave of chair to make some preliminary observation, largely on my press conference, and referred to how you felt about it and how your wife felt about it. I think Chairman largely addressed the issue in another way, which was acceptable to me, because we're only having our own challenges that we couldn't have communicated. But I think the effect of my political statement was to the effect that our side had no proper understanding of yesterday's arrangement. However, let me unconditionally apologize to your wife for the state conference I feel like if somebody says something about my life, it's fair. All right, these are not ego matters. So I'm sorry to your dear wife, and how my press conference was carried out before. I also said I would have the most respect for you. I will be the last person to run you down. Okay? So I'm sorry. I'm sorry to your wife one more time. Is that okay?
Yeah, very okay, and we are grateful. Thank you very much.
Very well. That's settled. You have concern about the state of the public press, the state of the economy, the need for us to be mindful of costs. Can you prejudice through those values you hear? You will understand the economy, make it a policy at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to fly economy and
in my private capacity, when I'm traveling, I fly business. And so if it is a policy of President Mohammed's government that ministers should now travel economy because of the state of the economy, I am happy to do that. And if I can top up with my own resources, as I have been doing already in my private travels, I do travel business, not first class, business. I'm happy to do that. As I said earlier, in this discussion, we must be more nuanced about it. I believe we can even achieve more savings with the size of delegations, with frequency of travels, with even the kind of airlines.
Honorable, you know, in the past, there's whole perception that leader keeps nominees for a long time. I would try to be very specific. So limit yourself as well so that you don't create more room for follow-ups, which would make your guests uncomfortable and your party members may think I have some personal agenda. So please pay attention and let's have a good conversation. So just to rephrase it, would you want to take a personal decision to fly economy, even if politics for you to fly?
I don't see totally. I will save on travels using mechanisms. I will watch the delegation. The kind of lines always go for what is competitive. And at the end of those kind of hotels, there are many ways that those are the to save even more money for the country. I really don't see what is a competition is.
You have become that President of the Republic recently traveled to the Gambia and the Republic of Senegal by using his brother's private of that, correct?
Yes.
You are aware that as public servants, we are measured by certain standards. Which standards you have a strong view on? Do you think that there is no direct cost on state? It is inappropriate for the president of the to be flying on official duties with his brother's private jet?
I have long advocated for the to have presidential policy, and I've said that in a cabinet is the matter I will pursue. So I do, if we have a policy, some countries even pass them enacted to where they are airlines don't. But now it exists, and any day the good people of Ghana will go for a trip as compared to 20,000 euros chartered jet where the Ghanaian service.
Do you agree with me that though the state did not pay for and travel by using his brother's private jet, it cost his brother money to fund the of his brother to in the Gambia? You agree with me?
Air travel comes with costs, land rights, kinds of fees you pay. So yes, it definitely comes some cost.
In view of that, it is inappropriate for a brother to bear the cost of the president's travel. You would agree with me that it's inappropriate, given the circumstances.
If you can clarify, I couldn't see why you say it's appropriate.
Oh, clarified. Just.
Honorable members, the question is whether it is inappropriate for a brother to start a trip. Honorable members, as for a gift from a brother, you can hardly reject. So to act appropriateness or otherwise, I have a difficulty about the question myself.
Mr. Chairman, the nominee wanted me to provide clarity. I will provide the clarity to the question. But the foundation is, in your own words, it is not proper for a president to travel on a $50,000 an hour debt. We need a policy to guide presidential travels. But for the time being, there is no policy. According to you again, the president traveled to the Gambia. That is President John Dramani Mahama, our president, traveled to the Gambia and Senegal by using his brother's private jets, which came at a cost to his brother. You've given a breakdown for the cost of landing, all those associated costs, including meals that are served on the aircraft, salary allowances of the pilots, the air hostess, all those who are hosted, not only the president, all those officials in the aircraft. His brother bore that cost on the president's behalf. Me, I have a patience to tolerate. You don't. You don't. You can't accommodate me. Can. Don't you think that the actions of Mr. President, the service as available to us, was inappropriate?
Do not think so.
Respected colleague, you have told this committee that you used your car loan to buy a combined harvester for the farmers in your constituency. First, I want you to be specific to guide us. You had a car loan in 2013, 2017, and 2020. Please share with us which of them you used in buying the combined harvester. Is it the 2013 one, or 2017 one, or 2021? Because each parliament, an MP is giving a car loan. So I want to know from you, which of them you used to buy a combined harvester for your farmers?
I was making specific reference to the 2021.
In fact, the question was specific reference to 2021.
So, may I know from you, the 2021, you see, normally the procedure is this. You will give the name of the...
One last point.
You have 1 minute.
You provide the name to Parliament, and then Parliament will issue the check directly to the automobile company, because the check is not issued in your name. Now, let me ask you, the letter you wrote to Parliament,
we are disposed towards withdrawing a case from court and go to negotiate. And if I heard Sammy very well, at one stage he said, oh, the 1.5 billion, yes, that's the agreement. This was a subsequent, for me, a revision, initial of the view that graphic had put out there. But we were inclined to paying about a third of 1.5 billion. At least, no, but I heard you say so.
I said that it will not. I didn't want to put a figure out as to where we were when I said we were deadlocked.
Yeah, but you were saying your ceiling was a third.
I said that it will not even be up to a third. That's what I said.
I said
it will not even be up to a third.
I can't believe
20 million is too much. They used.
You know, it's not personal. I mean, you know, this has nothing to do. So I believe that, look, that mindset, and that's what the graphic and the other media reports sought to do.
I don't really see. It is important that we don't criminalize judgment debts per se. If we have had problems with 1 or 2 judgment debts, the country thinks that there are issues there. Let us move in to address those issues. We all over, even sometimes the proceedings of Public Account Committee and all of comments that are made, statements that are made, impression is created as if only NDC is paying judgment debts. NDC introduced judgment debts. Judgment debts are corruption. So that was what I saw to portray. They just looked at Africa Automobile in the face and had all these reasons, conflicting reasons that we are getting. My point in this interview was, if the MPP government felt strongly that Africa Automobile has not met its terms, they have breached their contract and all of that, there are proper legal ways that you proceed on to abrogate this, to end this, so that we don't have a situation where we have to be. So you create this situation. They go to court, and this is a matter still pending. I hope that we are not held in contempt because it's still pending in the court. Then, when in the final analysis, payments have to be made, the present government is then accused of paying cronies engaged in judgment debt politics, which is detrimental to the state. So this is the context within which I raised this particular matter.
So I am dealing with your situation.
Government itself, if they went to court, government definitely put in a defense. I don't know when they went to court, according to Summit 2004. And according to some, this government has asked them to withdraw the case from court. You've appealed to them.
In Parliament.
Yeah, but you said so here a few moments ago that you appealed to them to withdraw from court. What is the defense that we put up then?
To even make an
government is continuous, as we've been saying.
Members of Parliament,
the state is the Attorney General of today of the opinion that the state had no case
from this and make progress,
and that Africa Automobile had a better case. So we are now inclined to proceed by out court and negotiate and deal with them. Have we checked our report, the report conducted by completed by the Serious Fraud Office? Have we checked the Auditor General's report?
I know what
have we checked all these things before?
Respectful, please.
We are disposed
a process to go on. Honorable nominee answered. I'm not bringing this up. He said that in 2021 he used his car loan to purchase a combine harvester. I'm not vetting any other person apart from him, and I'm limiting myself to him, and I'll show him utmost respect as our chief diplomat. Honorable nominee, this combine harvester that you purchased for your people with your car loan, the fact is that the monies are lodged with Parliament. You will need a correspondence to access that money. Please share with us the process you undertook to access that money.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to provide that. You do know that in our offices, our RAs are responsible for all of these administrative enterprises. So, Mr. Chairman, if you will allow me, I'm on oath. I do not want to make statements because I don't have those documents here. But I'm able to retrieve them from the office and submit them later, if Mr. Chairman, you will permit.
Honorable nominee, let us all trade cautiously. Be brief in your answers.
Honorable.
No, but Mr. Chairman, I'm seeking your ruling. Am I allowed to submit that later? Because I don't have those letters here.
I don't mind. Yeah. To make it available to us later.
I didn't drop those letters.
That's all right. So, Chairman, can you talk to your people? It's only let them can they be quiet? You. Honorable nominee, whilst we give you time to furnish us with the letters that you wrote to the clerk of Parliament, did you, in the letter, state, to the best of your memory, did you state to the clerk that your money, instead of using it to buy a car, which was why the state granted you that amount, instead of using it to buy, you were going to use it to buy a combine harvester?
I've been very open and transparent about my dealings, and I do not want to engage in guesswork. I have said that I will submit all the necessary documents on this particular transaction. So I will not engage in any guesswork. But I volunteered this information. I've talked about it time without number. Everybody in my constituency knows I have nothing to hide about this matter. So I'll submit the documents to you. But for now, I will not engage in any guesswork because I don't have the documents here.
2013, your car loan, did you access it?
I must have done that.
Can you share with us how you access that?
Again, I'll have to retrieve those documents for you.
Chairman, with your leave, I would stay questions on that to enable our respected colleague to bring documents in respect of how we access his 2013 car loan. Meanwhile, in 2013, you were a Deputy Minister of Education, correct?
Yes, I was.
In your work you had access to an official saloon car and an official four-wheel drive as a deputy education minister, correct?
Yeah, correct.
At the same time, you had a four-wheel drive purchased for you by Parliament, correct?
That's a car loan, so I don't know how you are defining that. It is deducted from our salary, so I think that it has to be, the context has to be,
Yes, I would, Honorable Nominee, don't worry. I would be fair as much as possible. Car loan, that's why I use the word car loan. So the ordinary meaning of a loan is that you will pay back. And we know that the car loans that we access, they deduct from our salary within the 4 years. So I will get to that point. Now, when you served 2013 to 2017 as Deputy Minister of Education, on record, you've told the Ghanaian public that you had access to an official four-wheel drive, had access to a saloon vehicle, and then on top of it, another four-wheel drive, which was a car loan from Parliament. Now, when you left office, the saloon car that you use, did you get the opportunity to purchase it?
I didn't put in an application to purchase it. That was available as an option, but I didn't avail myself for it. So I left it behind.
Same with the four-wheel drive you used at the ministry?
Yes, four-wheel drives are not covered under this policy.
Emphasis.
So for emphasis, all my official cars were left behind. I didn't apply to buy any of them.
So as at 2017, the only vehicle available to you was your four-wheel drive that Parliament bought for you, which there was deduction, correct?
Honorable Minority Leader, the nominee keep on saying it is a car loan, and you are using the word Parliament bought for you. Let's not create a different impression in public. So let's restrict ourselves to a car loan before the impression is created in public as if Parliament buys the car for us.
Let's come to 2017. Again, you won election and you came to Parliament. 2017, again, the state made available a car loan to you. Did you access that car loan for your second term in Parliament?
Yes, I did.
Did you buy a four-wheel drive with it or some other cars?
I stayed within the quantum available. So because I had the Land Cruiser for the previous term. This time I purchased 2 saloon vehicles, but I stayed within the parameters. I didn't exceed. Yeah, because you know that some people do pickups and all of that. Yeah, so.
Honourable Member.
Yeah, for clarity.
Yes, with respect to you, please help me by limiting it. only yourself. Use in accessing those funds to the automobile company where you bought them, you'll be able to provide us.
My RA keeps
Honorable
very good records, and I'm sure all of that.
Let me straighten the record.
Yeah.
That we've all been beneficiaries of the car loan. Sometimes the automobile company will bring a list or will have a paper, and all those who want to procure the vehicle from that automobile company would indicate their names. So it is not necessarily you writing a letter to that effect. We've all used the procedure. And this is including leadership.
Yeah, so Chairman, if you, I'm willing to follow your direction, Chairman, but I'm happy to provide all of these documents. My RA is a good record keeper.
Honorable nominee, do you know Rukayatu Al-Hassan, a chartered accountant who works with the Controller and Accountant General's Department?
No, the name doesn't ring a bell.
Honorable member, do you know of Louisa Osei, who works at the Department of Public Invested Lands Management Division at the Lands Commission?
No, I don't think I know them.
You'll be surprised if these individuals say they have a close relationship with you.
I'll be very surprised.
Now let's come to Ora. And you indicated, I'm bringing you there because on your CV, sometimes people may not appreciate why we're asking certain questions. If you come to page 1 of your own CV, you stated profile, Member of Parliament for Norton, 4th term. Then you come to summary. Under it, you have Chairman, Operation Recover All Loot. So it's on the basis of what you have put on your CV that I'm mounting my questions. So now, share with us. I know it was publicly announced that the respected Domlevo is a member of your committee. The respected Kofi Boachi is a member. And then Mr. Martin Kwebu, a respected lawyer. Sometimes people may have their own disagreement with him, but he's also playing his role in our democracy, and I respect him for what he's doing for his country. We can't always agree. Now, tell us, in very clear terms, what the mandate of this ORA has been.
Our mandate is exactly what Article 41F of the 1992 Constitution speaks of. And Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'll read Article 41F. Article 41F provides,
Please do.
The exercise and enjoyment of rights and freedoms is inseparable from the performance of duties and obligations. And accordingly, it shall be the duty of every citizen, F, to protect and preserve public property and expose and combat misuse and waste of public funds and property. unquote. So our mandate is to really be patriotic citizens. And I'm so proud that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama found me worthy to chair this eminent committee, which has the eminent patriots you have listed. Our mandate is simply to serve as a vehicle of information gathering. We've put out hotlines, we've put out emails, we have a website, and we are receiving information which we are compiling in a comprehensive document. We also carry out field visitations, because we don't want to be an armchair committee that just, puts together a report that we cannot verify, which we cannot validate, which is not credible. So we carry out field visits. We've been to a number of places across the country to be sure that the information that people are giving us are indeed accurate, so that we can present a credible, comprehensive report to His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. So that is what we have been doing, making sure that we prevent the looting, the misuse, the abuse of public property.
Now, you mentioned that earlier that people have been coming to your secretariat with information. So where is the secretariat?
The secretariat, which is really a makeshift secretariat, and we have to express our gratitude using this platform to Her Excellency the Vice President, Professor Nana Agyapong. We share her office with her. She generously, because she also believes, so passionately in oral, in protecting looting and protecting public assets. She very graciously allowed us to use her office for this work. So that's the secretariat we are using.
You mean her office at Jubilee House?
No, her private office.
Where is this office?
In Cantonment.
Cantonment, okay.
Yes.
Now, this private office in Cantonment, is it an office that she, because Cantonment lands are state lands. So now, this is a private office in Cantonment. Is it an office that she owns or she has rented? Is it something that you know?
Honorable member, the question is overruled. The essence is that she is not the owner. The place was made available. The person who made the place available has been mentioned. How would he, the user, be able to know whether the place is owned or it was rented?
Mr. Chair.
Well, Chair, I can Chair, if you don't mind, just make your work simple, because I have information.
I'm very mindful.
I have information.
My mind.
It's rented. She doesn't own it. It's rented. So, Chairman, if you don't mind, so that we don't even create any unfair impression in the minds of Ghanaians, because I work closely with her, and I know
the person, Professor Nana Agyapong, is the tenant.
Yes,
she is a tenant.
Absolutely.
Okay, because that place is a dollar-rated area. So, yes, Cantonment properties, you pay dollars. We know that as a fact. So, I'm happy to hear that the Vice President is able to afford a dollar, rent in Cantonment. It means that we can't, we being in public service doesn't mean that we should be poor. That's fine. Anyway.
Well, so, Chairman, I'm also happy to observe that the Honorable Minority Leader is aware that Cantonment lands are dollar rated. So when some of his colleagues are paying 42,000 cedis for a plot of land in Cantonment, he must join my crusade against state capture. So I'm very happy. I'm happy you are introducing dollars into this discussion. Very, very happy about it.
My respected colleague, Not to worry. We'll go there gradually. We'll go there gradually. Now, the land in cantonment. You are telling us that some people have been paying 42,000, whatever you call it. What? Have you been able to find out from the Lands Commission whether they have a standard pricing regime for lands that they sell to the public? Have you found out?
Honorable Minority Leader, if you can expatiate your question. Standard regime, how?
So, to enable one to determine whether a land is being sold at a very low price or a high price, one must pay attention to valuation. So the entity in question, whether it has set its own pricing ceiling. So you pay grounds, rent, the actual lease, so, and if so, per acre or per plot. How is that determined? I just want to know from you whether as part of your work, you've been able to find out from the Lands Commission whether state lands that they sell, they have their own standard pricing for it.
What I've discovered in the course of my work is that it varies depending on the area. So cantonments varies, range varies. I'm even looking into your own acquisition in Winneba. I have the document here. It also varies. So it varies all over. I have documents from Tamale as well, which vary. So I don't think there's a standard rate. It varies depending on the place.
Honorable nominee, because you have brought me in, I'm able to find out from you about my properties in Winneba that you know. I want you to share with the public.
This specific one is a lease between you and the government of Ghana on 22nd March 2023. The name Alexander Afenyo Markins for 99 years. This is in Winneba. Yeah, so official Lands Commission document. Yeah.
Honourable Member, do you say 99 years? Yes. Because I know as a fact that government land, the lease will not go beyond 50 years. By law.
If I can read verbatim, and this is signed by Justice A. Asanguna, Principal Lands Officer in Winneba, and the official search certificate indicates that the search applied for against the land edged red on the plan attached has been made with the following results. 1, the site is not a state land but vested by virtue of LI 206 dated 21st November 1961. 2, the site also is covered by a lease dated 22nd March 2023 between the government of Ghana on one part and Alexander Afenyo Markin on the other part for a term of 99 years. So that is what the search certificate states.
Honorable nominee, just by way of public information, because you provided the airline, now I'll give you a background to Winneba and Gomwa. Winneba and Gomwa have had a long period of land disputes. It went all the way to the Gold Coast Supreme Court. So the entire Winneba land, Kwame Nkrumah, just to bring peace between the people of Winneba and the people of Gomwa, came up with this executive instrument there are two instruments. So in Winneba, every land is vested. All the villages and the Gumwa enclave as well. So I'm happy that you read. The states. Yes. Oh, come on. But the person read, Roxanne, we are doing a serious exercise. I mean, if you guys want us to go the path of partisan politics, we would go there. No. I have been very gentle and respectful. Chairman, you need to talk to your people.
Let's have some order.
Because when we react, then they will take offense.
I beg you. Let's have some order.
We have a lot of things to do. I've been calm, quiet, gentle, respectful. They've been doing, I've been keeping quiet. Please, I have patience, but not to a point that a man cannot tolerate. So, Honorable Nominee, I am happy that sitting there, you've gone digging me. And I'm happy that you brought it here. That Winneba, I want to provide information. Winneba and Gumwa enclave. The chiefs, their lands were all annexed. And they are vested lands. So I'm happy that you read it. And even when the Asafo companies, the Asafo own that area called Ponkwechi, there's Dentifo Asafo. And the Twafo also own the Komfo-addo, Kojobedu areas. And some chiefs own their lands. But because of the Kwame Nkrumah EI, even if you buy from the chief, and the chief gives you an indenture, you can't register at Lands Commission because of that EI. So everybody in Winneba would have to go and register through a lease with the state. So I'm happy you brought it up, and then I've just explained to you. Now let us go back to your oral work. You have indicated that you are seeking to recover state lands that have been wrongly appropriated. You call it loot. Now, are you looking at all state lands that were appropriated by individuals since 1992, or you are going way down to the 80s, 70s, or you are limiting yourself to recent years? Can you share some light on your mandate? Because you are seeking to recover, which is very patriotic.
Honourable Member, I believe this will be in the mandate of
That's what you should share with us.
ORA. The nominee before us is being vetted for a position of a foreign minister. So,
Chairman,
how relevant is the mandate of ORA to
Chairman,
the position
Chairman,
that the nominee is being vetted for?
Chairman, don't start. I hold you.
Ready? They can go ahead and call your
Chairman,
people.
Chairman, you have the nominee himself spoke about ORA. The nominee himself stated in his CV, and I'm asking him questions about it. Then you say it is not relevant. Chairman, I'm pleading with you. I'm according you every respect. Let's have a smooth inquisition. Let's have a smooth inquisition. Honorable nominee, your work aimed at recovering state assets, lands that have been looted, etc. Which period are you looking at?
His Excellency the President has made clear that looting is looting, and it doesn't matter when it occurred. Once information emerges that it was an unconscionable transaction, we should document it. Remember that I have said that our work is with phase 1, information gathering. When we have presented our report to the President, phase 2 will kick in. That's where the Attorney General will take control, and we'll be looking at the recoveries, the actual retrievals, and if there has to be even prosecutions. Because remember that ORAL's work is not only about properties. We also have the financial aspect, the causing financial loss to the state. So it's a more broader concept than often it is made to look.
Now, let's leave ORA for a moment and come back to your CV. Page 1 of your CV. You provided your address, PO Box AD45, Adabraka, Accra. Is the address owned by you? Is it your own postal address, or is it a family postal address that you are using?
It's a family postal address.
Then you have indicated home address, number 1, Wilshire Boulevard, Airport Hills. This property at Airport Hills, how long have you been living at Airport Hills?
About 8 years.
Is it your own property?
No, I am renting. I'm a tenant.
Airport Hills is dollar rented zone. Are you aware?
Honorable Member, can we have a clarification of dollar rented? Because in Ghana, we use CD. So I don't understand a dollar rented property. Does it mean you pay the rent in dollars?
Not necessarily.
I mean...
Okay. Okay, Honorable Member. So your rent, do you pay it monthly or you pay it annually?
Well, it depends. And Chair, I don't know if you want me to share the tenancy agreement with you, even though I'll have to
don't proceed.
Seek the permission of my dear wife, because we do it together.
Don't proceed. It is not in the interest of the company to be demanding for your tenancy agreement, let alone determining how much you pay as rent.
Okay. Well, I mean,
that is personal.
I like to be transparent, so
but that is personal.
But I respect your ruling, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, you see, we are in this public enterprise together. This is a nominee who, desirous of protecting the public purse, holding people accountable, is able to inquire into how people earn their salaries, especially public officers, how people acquire properties and all. I think that it is only fair. For instance, in this inquisition, at least he came as prepared as possible with my own land that I have owned for over 25 years, which is good.
And that's not only what I have, by the way.
No problem. No. Provide, honorable member. I am happy. I'm happy for you to share with the public all that you have on me. Read them aloud. No, please read them aloud. Honorable members, I want you, because you brought it up, I want you to share with the public all the properties that I have that you have uncovered, including my bank account. Share with the public. I'm happy for you to share. No, I want you to share because I want it to disclose. I am right here. No, I am right here. I am right here. I want you to disclose to the public all the properties that I own that you have.
Honorable Minority Leader, remember, I am the chair of the committee. If you ask a question that relates to that, fine. I can even overrule the question. So please, you are not allowed to mention the others unless the need arose. Proceed.
Honorable member, as part of your inquisition on me, did you discover some other properties that I own apart from what you have already mentioned? Which search result you shared? Are there others that you were able to uncover?
Is there inquisition in the first place, or you just gather information?
Don't worry, I will put it right if I should use gathered information.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I will disclose what I have at the right time. We are all following our strategy. You have a strategy, I have my strategy. So let's stick to our strategies.
So good. So, honorable nominee, as part of the information you've gathered thus far, the ones that you have gathered about me, can you disclose them to the public apart from what you have discovered?
I cannot at this point.
Honorable nominee, this property at the Airport Hills that you say you rent, and you've been renting it for 8 years, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars? Your rent, your tenant rent, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars?
In cities, we always pay the city equivalent.
Do you deduct withholding tax from your rent at source? Because every rent, there's a withholding tax element, and then you give the receipts to the landlord. Do you deduct at source and pay to GRA, or you just pay your rent and it doesn't matter how the landlord goes about it?
Honorable members, this is a legal question. It's in two ways. The landlord can choose to pay the rent, and the landlord can agree with the tenant for the tenant to also pay it. And it depends the duration.
So he's opening it up for clarity. So choose the part you would want to answer.
I'm not allowing you to answer that question.
Chairman, please say so for the records. I didn't get that you have
question overruled.
That's okay. No problem. Honorable member, on your CV, you have indicated on page 2 Page 2. Are you there with me? We have former managing director, Savvy Solutions. Now share with us when you registered this company.
This was in April 2018.
Are you the sole shareholder of this company, please?
Yes, I am, but it's defunct.
Honorable member, the fact that you are a managing director of a company does not suggest that you are even a shareholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let alone being the sole shareholder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the question is overruled.
Are you a shareholder of the company?
The company is defunct, so I'm no longer working or operating this company.
Were you a shareholder of the company?
sole shareholder.
From which year to which year did you operate this company?
It was just about a year. It was short-lived.
What was the nature of the business of the company?
So it was communications and PR firm, and because I was appointed Deputy Minister for Information, I saw that there will be potential conflict, and so I decided to wind down to avoid a conflict of interest situation.
Honorable Member, you served as a Deputy Minister of Information between 2009 to 2013. A moment ago, you said the company was registered in 2018. Please, can you bring clarity? Because you said 2018.
No, I meant 2008. Thanks for the 2008. So let the record be corrected. April 2008.
Please kindly take the leave of chair.
So, Mr. Chairman, with your leave.
2008,
not 2018. Yeah, 2008.
Now, you do not own any other company, correct?
I'm a director in one company which is yet to take off. It's a farming arrangement that we are working on. I and a number of